Welcome to Survivoneers, where we talk about spirituality, relationships, and our personal well being so that we can live life more skillfully, more gracefully in our personal journey. In this discussion, I want to talk about 4 signs that it may be time to end your intimate relationship with your partner or significant other. And one of the last things that we are going to discuss is very important because it can affect our entire spirit or being. So if this sounds interesting to you, try to stay to the end as we're going to discuss one of the most important ones that we need to be mindful of when we are in an intimate relationship. Number 1, a sure sign that it may be time to end your relationship is when there is no longer respect for each other. When it comes to disrespect, it can start very small and sometimes seem insignificant in our relationship, but as time expands and moves on, this disrespect can get out of hand. And we all know what we are talking about when we're trying to just share a simple thought or a simple goal with our significant other, and they seem to maybe use condescending terms instead of encouraging terms or statements towards you that can uplift your spirit and help you to move on in your life. Or if you're going through a difficulty, you want your significant other to respect what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and you do value their opinion. But when problems and challenges start to weigh on the connection and bond that you have for each other, we are talking about a constant disrespect. From time to time, we do make mistakes. We do fall short of some things that we may have said to our partner or done to our partner. And in those times, you try to learn, you try to forgive each other, not be so hard on one another, to the point where you start attacking the person's character or your partner's character, and that becomes an unhealthy situation. So we're talking about constancy and all these signs that we are looking for and how to spot them in our relationship. So the way disrespect can look like, once again, is your partner no longer values your opinion, does not care what you think or feel, invalidation, and all these things start to build up as disrespect for you. And this is unhealthy, and this is a sure sign that if it is happening over and over and over again and it's not getting better, that it could be that you might want to end the relationship. Before we move on to number 2, I wanted to make this quick side note and say that all these indications does not mean that you have to end your relationship. The ultimate decision is yours, and we are not trying to force an idea or a decision for you. This is going to be totally up to you, you and your partner, where you feel at peace in your heart and in your mind in your decision. And yes, I know that sometimes in life, because of the many difficulties it presents every day to us and how it weighs on us, that it's not easy to make decisions sometimes. So keep this in mind as a guide, that it is ultimately your decision and what you want to have as an outcome in your relationship. Number 2, another sure sign that it may be time to end your intimate relationship is when there is constant arguing. I mean that when you're just sitting at a restaurant with each other and a simple thing comes up and then it turns into a big argument. Now it has escalated and you're going back and forth, arguing over something simple. And then you cannot even have a simple interaction with your partner, and it ruins the whole evening or afternoon. During that time, you're just trying to enjoy a meal with each other. Other cases can be in the domestic environment. If you live together, if you're married and you know each other well, and it could be simple things in the household that aren't being done, and maybe your partner has expressed them already and they do not get done. And that's another issue there, of course, where we want to be in agreement. And what y'all decide to agree on in the household is between you and your partner. But when simple things turn into an argument every time, I mean, this has happened constantly, maybe every day, every few hours, and you can't even enjoy a simple interaction with your partner no more. It has come to that point of, as we stated, the first sign, disrespect. It has come to that point where they no longer value your thoughts or your ideas. They no longer encourage you or uplift you, as we have said briefly. And everything is just turning into chaos and clash, and you can't even have a simple, enjoyable interaction. And this is happening every day, maybe every few hours every day. This could be a sure sign that it is time to walk away and move on from the relationship. Now, as a solution for arguing, I want to just implement here quickly before we go on to number 3, is that when we are in a heated argument with our partner, what we want to do is always respect each other. That's number 1, even if you disagree. We're going to have different perspectives in our relationship, and that is designed for us to grow and have flexibility in the relationship. We have to stick with the facts along with respecting each other. In other words, we're not attacking our partner's character all the time and just trying to bring them down just because we don't agree with one of their perspectives. A relationship is designed for 2 ideas to come together and to take the good from each one. So let us keep this in mind, that if we're going to get into an argument, that we respect each other, that we value each other's thoughts and ideas, that we use encouragement and not discouragement, trying to condense in our partner or put him down, and that we stick with the facts, and that we argue and exchange ideas or debate these ideas in a healthy way, and to know that there is an intelligent way to have conflicting ideas and perspectives. Number 3, a third sure sign that it may be time to end the relationship with your significant other is when your partner is no longer willing to compromise. And they do not care about your feelings. In other words, they are very dismissive. They begin to ignore your feelings. They are talking over you in simple discussion. They are trying to make you feel inferior, and they are trying to let the ego lead them so that they can feel in control. And what happens when we lose control? We start to attack. And we do not realize that we are not the ego. The ego has its own set of rules that it tries to survive on. And the ego is that negative voice that is always trying to tell you what to do, such as, I am better than you. I am in control. I did this for you. And it begins to try to convince you and take control and hijack your being and lead you in a way that is down a path of constant chaos, and it can eventually destroy your entire human constitution, which is your mind, body, and your spirit. And so this sign of not willing to compromise, such as maybe a simple thing like maybe we need to get some professional help or talk to a relationship coach or talk to a therapist, and your partner is just shut off from that. And sometimes there are legitimate reasons where, maybe your partner is not comfortable sharing problems with another person or a third party. And that's understandable. But if your partner becomes completely closed off and is not open to compromise and being willing to work on the issues together, and they just, well, this is just the way I am, I'm never gonna change, and you're too sensitive, you shouldn't be feeling that way, there goes the ego. And we can begin to see this picture that it is not healthy in a relationship when constantly, every day, your partner is just against you. Relationships are supposed to help us feel fulfilled, not emptied of our joy and our desire for one another. And so if our partner just does not want to consider change or compromise where compromise is possible, then it may be a sure sign to end the relationship. Now, you might interject a rejection here and say, well, I don't want to change my partner. And your partner may even say, I feel like you're just trying to change me. And what we are talking about is repeated patterns of behavior. In this discussion, let's not lose sight of this, that we are talking about when there's constancy of this, a constant disrespect, a constant arguing, a constant unwillingness to compromise. But when it comes to character, our character is malleable. In other words, if there are things that we can improve in, maybe to be a better listener, maybe to practice the skill of more empathy, maybe to practice the skill of validating your partner's feelings. All these things have to do with character, which are separate from the ego. And so if your partner, again, is unwilling to compromise, this could be a sign to walk away. If you have gained value so far from this discussion, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Surviving Heirs YouTube channel so that we can learn together in building healthy relationships and building awareness for us as we journey through our relationships in life. Here is the last one that I want to share that I believe is the most important and could be a final and sure sign that it is time to walk away from the relationship. This is going to be one of the most very important ones. And this is called when your partner begins to resent you. And this is a sad state because when it comes to this point, that means that there has been no effort to uncover and get everything out on the table. And your partner has been bottling things up, bottling their emotions up. And that becomes so pressurized that now they feel shame. Shame is activated. They feel resentment towards you. And that is not a healthy or spiritually healthy place to be, because that can eventually turn into hate. And that's a powerful word that I usually do not like to use, but this is a very serious matter to be mindful of. If you are beginning to sense in your gut, in your spirit, in your stomach, that your partner is starting to resent you, things are so sensitive that they just react so easily to something maybe you just criticize them constructively on. Maybe just a simple request, can you please take a few minutes to listen to what I have to say and don't talk over me? And please don't interrupt me. Let me express myself and my feelings. But yet you feel that resentment and your partner is just becoming closed off. And this, again, is not a good state to be, because it can create even more serious problems in the long run. So number 4, when you start to feel that resentment, that could be a sure sign that it is time to end the relationship and begin the healing process. Again, wisdom will teach us to choose the best course of action in any given situation when all these things have presented themselves. And sometimes we feel lost. Sometimes we feel confused and we don't know where to go. But with practice, with meditation, with giving careful thought, wisdom, which is knowledge and understanding applied will be our guide. It'll be our light in what we need to do in these difficult relationship issues. So as we summarize here, the 4 signs that it may be time to begin a new journey and begin your healing process is there is constant disrespect, there is constant arguing, your partner is unwilling to compromise, and resentment has begun to set in and begin to destroy your joy and your happiness that each of you deserve. If you like content like this, where we talk about spirituality, relationships, and well-being, subscribe to Survivor because it does help to spread this good message, and it does help to support this channel if that is what you would like to do.